Hey Troy, how's it going?
Good, how you doing?
Good. How's inventory doing on the Honda 450s?
It's fair.
Well, I don't know, did you see that order just came in?
I did not. What do we get?
We got about 25 of the Honda 450s and then a variety of some other axles. So I just want to check to see how you're doing on the bigger
Okay,
quantity.
the 450s are starting to run kind of low, being the busy time of season.
You might want to get stocked back up because I can assess he's probably going to want his stuff pretty quick. Where's this one here going?
This one's going to South Africa.
South Africa.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll get Jesse to work with you and get that order set up, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Talk to you later.
We manufacture all kinds of different stuff with all kinds of different tools, so I figure we'll show you how we make axles. Let's go take a look. So we get bar stock, it's steel. We get that in a hot rolled condition, and we lay all the bar stock out and we put paint marks all down the ends of them, so when we cut them, we know which ones are the ends. The ends of the bars are typically tapered or bent. So what we do is we'll cut up the bar stock and we separate the ends, and then we take the ends over and we straighten them so that they can go into our lathe to be machined, because if they're not straight enough, they won't feed into the machine.
So the first thing we do is we load an axle into the machine. I'll hit cycle start here. There it is. All right. So that right spindle is gonna come up and pick that stock up. It's gonna push it back into the left spindle. It's gonna do this a couple of times to get the positioning perfect. So it has twin tool turrets, and they can actually machine this axle from both sides at the same time, simultaneously, or one can go at one time, another one can go at a different time.
Well, one of the cool features is that we can load this machine up with all the tools we need, and we can even put redundant tools in the machine so that it'll cycle through all of its tools, and we can run lots of parts all day long without ever having to change out our tooling. And Troy's gonna go ahead and get one started here for us.
All right, here we go. All right, now this is just before the coolant's gonna come on, so you're gonna have to back out there and let us close that door.
So one of the other things we've equipped this machine with is a high pressure coolant system. And what the high pressure coolant system does is it helps us to break our chips and keep the coolant down at the cutting area when it's actually cutting. There's a lot of heat generated at the cutting area, and it gets without the high pressure, it can't get lit past that heat barrier. So we run a high pressure coolant system. I think this one here is about 1,000 PSI of pressure that we run at that tool. So one of the cool features about this machine and having twin turrets is we can do something we call pinch turning. Pinch turning is when you have two tools that oppose each other and they put opposing force, and they can pinch the shaft and turn it at the same time. What that does when you're doing a long skinny shaft is it helps give it support and eliminate a lot of the chatter issues you have in machining long skinny shafts. This is a chuck, this is a chuck, this is an axle, this is a turret, this is a turret. If you only turn with one turret, you can actually see the flex that will happen in the shaft. If we pinch it at the same time when we turn it, now there's no more flex, and we can turn and push the machine and cut a whole lot faster and a lot harder.
Okay, so what you're seeing in the machine right now, there's some grooves in the end of the material, and there's a puck on the end that right chuck is holding on to. It holds on to that side, and then it holds on to raw stock out here, and it roughs this whole profile here. It'll do all of the roughing, and then it'll come back and it'll finish. It'll give us a nice fine finish across here, nice and smooth. Then it'll come in, it'll cut some threads for us. It'll come in and it will groove and profile this end and cut these threads. At that point, it'll part off right here, and the chuck will come forward and pick up the part and pull it back out so it can finish the other side of the axle.
So right now it's machined half the shaft, and we're gonna suck up on it. We're gonna grab the other half of the shaft, pull it out, and we do the same thing that we did the first half. Also, for right now, we're kind of taking our time showing you guys how this thing is made, but Troy, how long does this thing usually take for us to make?
From the time you push the button till the time it spits one out takes about 23 minutes. Now that is given there's no issues or problems anywhere along the line.
And we'll run about 40,000 pounds of material every year on an average, which gives us about 2,000 axles a year. This is a rack that we built to unload our axles as it ejects it out of the spindle of the machine. It ejects them, collects them, stacks them. It makes it so we can walk away from the machine and not worry about it. All right, so this machine here, it cuts the splines in our axles. It's called a gear hopper. What it'll do is it'll cut a straight cut spline all the way across, about 2-3 inches long. Now, the way that we do that is there's a bunch of different settings on the machine that we have to set up. There's speed, and there's the amount of teeth or splines that we're gonna end up putting in the shaft. I can show you real quick how we do that. So this here is where we control the speed of the machine being cut, which is how fast this table is gonna move across the part. Here's the gears we use. We can change these gears out and it'll change how fast this table will move across the part in cutting it. And there's even a chart here that tells you all the different combinations you can do and speeds and whatnot. Now over here is where we can control how fast the cutter is spinning itself. This is basically the cut speed. And we can change these out also to get faster or slower cutting speeds. And then we have a set of gears over here that we change often. These combination of gears is what controls the amount of teeth that are going to be in your shaft. We cut anywhere between 24 and 39 splines in a shaft, so we'll change these gears out all the time. You can see a selection of gears down here that we use. The things that we change the most is mostly the spline count, the speed and the feed. We pretty much leave it all the same. It doesn't need to be changed for what we're doing. There's some other things that we can change on this guy also, which is depth of cut. This particular knob will take and rotate, and you can change the head height. You can move this thing up or down to control the depth of our splines. The difficult part is actually not setting up the gears and whatnot, but it's actually getting the correct depth, the correct angle of the cutter, because if you don't get all that, the minutes and stuff like that all set up right, your cuts don't come out right, the depths don't come out right, nothing works right. So pay attention in math class. These particular machines can cut a lot more than what we're doing. They can cut your gears that you might see in a machine, but we use it primarily for using straight cut splines for our ATV axle shafts. So this particular machine is probably made, I think, back in the 1960s. If you were to get a more modern machine, it would probably run a lot more like our CNCs where it's all computer controlled and everything. This one here is on old technology, and it works still. Every day, we use these things day in, day out, and they'll probably run for another 40 years. When I learned how to run the hoppers, there was nobody to teach you, and I had to go find an old guy that knew how to run them still to teach me how to run them, because there's nobody around that knew how to run them right. So you have to go find an old guy that knows how to run old machines.
We're gonna blast our logo into it. And that looks beautiful, and that's the last step in the process. We just send it off to the chrome shop to be plated, and the axle will be finished.
All right, so we've shown you guys how we make a Dominator axle. We've shown you how we do the splines, the machining, and everything else. So now what we're going to show you guys is how we make the hubs that go onto these particular splines. So this is the hub that we're going to be broaching. As you can see now, it's coming out of the lathe and the mill, and it has a nice smooth bore on the ID. This one here is what we're going to be doing. It'll be taking and putting all those little teeth pattern inside the inside of that bore. So we'll start off. This here is a broach, and we're going to pull this broach through the part. Let's go ahead and turn the machine on real quick, and we'll show you guys how we do it. So what we'll do is we'll slide this broach on, like so. I'll pull this guy down, and then we slide this guy in. Put the key in. And then we'll take and we'll spray the coolant on the cutter. And then we slowly will pull this tool through the part. All right, so that's what it looks like. All finished. Fancy. Now, there's a couple different types of broach machines out there. This one here happens to be a pull broach machine that we built ourselves. So this broach, what it does is it cuts progressively through the part. And as you can see, if you look at the broach closely, each row has teeth in it. And each set of teeth cuts progressively deeper and deeper as it goes through the part, through the hub itself, to where you get down all the way to the end and it's cutting its final diameters. These also teeth up here, they will actually cut the final bore, the finished bore of the product itself. So you don't have to have a perfect bore in machining in the lathe because the broach is going to make that the final diameter itself. We have pull broaching and we have push broaching. The benefits are with a pull broach, you're going to get a lot straighter cut, a lot faster cut. And with the push broach, what ends up happening is you're pushing down on this cutter and the shaft wants to bow and flex. When you pull, it doesn't want to bow and flex. When it bows and flex, your part can come out distorted, not very straight of cut, and a bunch of other stuff. Now, push broaching is common because most machine shops will have a small press and they can push broach through a small keyway or something like that. Those are some of the differences in our broaching. Now, this particular hub, we made it to go on this particular axle right here. So now that it's been broached, we can take and slide this guy onto our splines, and it fits perfect like a glove. Nice and smooth, nice and tight. And we will make different hubs for all the different parts. We happen to have another guy right here that we've taken and made this particular hub for. So this here is a sprocket hub, and this particular hub is actually pressed onto the splines, so it's a press fit instead of a slip fit. Slip fit is when the hub is allowed to slide on the shaft itself. It could be pulled on and off. This particular one is pressed on, so it does not come on and off. It's on there, rigid, it's stuck on there. The only way you get it off is if you press it off. This here happens to be another hub, wheel hub that we made for this particular axle. And it slides on and off also. And that is broaching 101. All right, so what you see here is us doing some testing of our ATV axles. And this is a test we do to see how many times we can bend it before it actually wants to break. This is kind of like a fatigue testing. This is one of the ways that we can actually guarantee our axle for life by doing testing. We keep our riders safe and everything like that. So, some of these axles that we do, we will cycle it this many, just like you see here, over 130,000 times. It'll run for like 2 weeks straight doing this before it'll actually break from fatigue. So one of the things we do during the development is we'll run a profile and we'll throw it in the machine, we'll test it. If it breaks prematurely, then we go back to the drawing board and we do some re-engineering, some reconfiguration, make another one, throw it back in the machine, test it till it breaks, and we keep tweaking them until they get to the point where we feel comfortable with the amount of cycles it's able to go through. ATV axles, factory ones, everyone else's, other people's, whatever, they all have a tendency to break in similar spots. Some of those spots are here at the threads, here at a snap ring groove, and here at this conjunction right here where the wheel hub goes. So what we do is we do what we can to keep that from breaking. I'm not going to tell you all the stuff we do, but we do stuff. These particular axles, we do all this testing, but the biggest thing for us is that a lot of the pros in the industry will run our product all day, every day. We sell this product all over the world. It has such great reliability. So some of the best gauging for us is to know that, most of all the top pros in the racing industry that race the sport quads all run a Dominator axle. So there's some proof right there that it is a great axle.
Hey, Dale.
Oh, hi, Bob. How you been?
I'm doing great. We are still on for Tuesday with the Scouts, right?
We're definitely up for knife sharpening.
For the Boy Scouts? Okay.
In fact, you're going to have your son there, right?
Oh, yeah, he'll be there.
Okay. My plan is to make knives.
Making knives?
Making knives.
How are we going to make knives?
Well, I got a laser out there. I can make just about anything you want.
Oh, my gosh. I'm not telling their moms what we're doing. Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Seeing you, Bob.
So when your mom asks you to sharpen her knife, just tell her all you need is a laser and a belt sander. I've been doing Scout stuff my whole life. When I was little, I was a Cub Scout. Eventually, I became a Boy Scout and got my Eagle, and now I'm a Scout Master. Come on, boys, single file.
Whoa, what is that?
You guys ever seen one of these before?
No.
It's a Humvee.
Whoa. What do you use them for?
The military uses them.
Do they come like this from the Army?
Nope, that's what they come like from the Army over there. All camouflaged.
Oh.
Yep, this is a military, come right from the auction house.
I'm all right with this one. Okay.
All right? Looks a little rougher, doesn't it?
Yeah. A little. Just a little.
Okay, guys, we got a laser over here, and we're gonna laser cut knives today.
The cool thing about scouting is you only have to include 3 things to excite the Boy Scouts: fire, food, and sharp objects.
So this door's gonna come up. Here's a piece of metal we're gonna cut, and a light beam is gonna come out of the end of that, and it's gonna make a little bit of sparks, and then it's gonna start moving around. All right. Are we ready? Okay, I'm gonna close the door. That's kind of cool, huh?
Yeah.
Right, that's just a part of it. All right, we ready?
Yeah.
And a laser can cut metal that thick.
Why didn't I have something like this when I was a kid?
I don't know, we were sitting around in the shop pounding on angle iron trying to make a knife. You're cutting it out with a laser.
I remember when I was a kid, we used to take conduit, electrical conduit, and smash one end of it to make it into a flat blade, and then the round part for the conduit, and then we would sharpen the edge. I was doing that when I was 10 years old.
In a matter of about 3 minutes, we had all the knives, fingernail cleaners cut out.
See the edge they put on there? Everybody see that?
Is that actually sharp?
Not yet, I'm going down the other side now, okay?
So when you get home, you gotta tell your mom you learned how to sharpen a knife. Okay, that's the merit badge requirement tonight. See how he's doing that? A little bit on one side and a little bit on the other. So when your mom asks you to sharpen her knife, just tell her all you need is a laser and a belt sander and a lot of training. So you kids better stay in school. Last time we were camping, we had to start our fire with flint and steel, huh?
Yeah, that was fun. And magnesium.
I almost thought we weren't gonna eat that night.
When you guys turn 16 years old, once you guys be knocking at my door going, hey, what can I do for you? We're just making the metal really hot. And a piece of metal is coming off. It's really, really hot, glows.
So Jeff, when we go camping, I'm getting tired of cooking on the ground. What do you think?
Yeah, that gets old with all these scouts cooking in the dirt.
Yep. I think we need to have Dale build us a trailer. Like a little trailer with a kitchenette in it and stuff like that.
That's a great idea. How about that, scouts?
Yeah. And we should put a bed in it. And a heater.
A bed and a heater?
Yeah.
That's called an RV. That's when you're an Eagle Scout, son. Until then,
The problem is our next camp out is in 2 weeks.
2 weeks? I gave him a deadline of 6 weeks one time and he built a Humvee. Jeff totally agrees with me. Last time we went camping, the boys cut all the potatoes up and then dropped them in the dirt. I've got to get Dale on board and we're making a trailer. So Dale, what do you think about building a trailer so when we go camping in 2 weeks, we don't have to cook on the dirt?
That'd be a great idea.
Yeah, we could make like a little kitchen trailer thing we could tow behind whatever vehicle we have. And
We'd probably end up go camping more often.
Yeah,
Our
let's do it.
next camping trip is in 2 weeks, though.
2 weeks.
It's better than
I've never done anything like that before. I made some stupid project that had a short time frame on it.
Isn't this awesome, boys?
Yeah. I love making nail cleaners. Like,
Yeah, these are
It's so
good
fun.
fingernail cleaners. And did you know that when you grow up, one thing you can learn to do is to run one of those lasers. You have to be able to run a computer to analyze the programs. You have to program the laser to cut everything properly, set the parameters. So that's a job that you could do when you grow up that a lot of people don't think about, right?
yeah.
Yeah, but it takes a very skilled individual to be able to run that laser and do it right, to program it to make fingernail cleaners and knives and stuff like that. So think of that when you go home, that could be your future.
Okay, hold your knife up. I gotta take a picture and send it to your moms. They're gonna be so excited that their 11-year-old scouts are coming home with these knives.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
here we go. One.
Turn around
say,
here.
On 3, say mom. 1, 2, 3, mom. Got it.
Hey, sorry about all the knives, but let's face it, they learned a lot about lasers, and who knows, maybe they'll stay in school and learn to run this thing someday, because I need someone to build me a trailer. All right, boys, let's tell Dale thank you and head off to get some ice cream. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Thanks, Dale. That was awesome.
You're welcome, guys.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome, guys. We'll do it again sometime. We'll make something even cooler. I got 25 cents in my pocket and I'm buying.
Buying for everybody.
Hi, this is Dale. If you like this video, maybe you could like and subscribe, and even leave a comment if you'd like. Hey, thanks. Have a great day.